If I lost everything today, my clients, my website, everything just went downhill. Here's the steps I would take to build a service-based business and potentially land my first paying client in the next 30 days. And the best part, you can follow along for free. There's no ads, there's no hacks, and by the end of the video, you will have the exact foundations you need to build a solid coaching business from scratch. Let's dive in. But let's hold up for a second. What is a service-based business, you might think? A service-based business means you get paid for helping someone with a skill that you already have. There's no inventory, there's no startup costs, nothing. And the best part, if you have access to the Wi-Fi, a mobile phone or a laptop, you can get started today. Pick a skill and validate the demand, which is a lot easier than you think. And the skill doesn't have to be perfect, it simply needs to solve a problem. And if you can do that, you're onto a winner. Let me show you. So spy and validate sounds a little sexy. It's not, but it is a great way to pinpoint whether there's a market and whether or not what you want to offer will actually work. So here we go. Framework. What am I already good at? What are you already good at? Have a think about it. Are you good at marketing? Are you good at coaching? Are you good at helping people? Are you good at consulting? Are you good at media? Are you good at gardening? What is it exactly that you're good at? And this is going to be a fantastic way then for you to then navigate a market, which is the next thing. Who has the problem right now that you know you could solve if you did something, if you created something that would be of value for them? And then are people paying for this already? And if they are, that's a great way to validate that your idea has a lot of potential when it goes into the market. So let me show you how you can do this using Instagram. So what you're going to do is you're going to go onto Instagram and click the search column. And then let's say you want to do teaching, right? So you want to be teaching mentor, let's say that, all right? And then you just go ahead and click that. And what you'll find is that there's different teacher mentors all over the place. So what have we got here? We got feeds, right? All these people actively doing, which is teaching, and then mentoring, which is a really good validation that this kind of niche would work pretty well. The same as personal trainer. If you were to type that in, how many personal trainers are there going to be? There's probably going to be thousands, if not hundreds, let's say. And again, you've got loads of people who are actually being a personal trainer. It's just a very good way to validate an offer of some sort. So you can do the same with Facebook, with LinkedIn, with YouTube, with Google. Have a search on the market and see if your solution, your idea is popping up. And if you do find something, that's great validation that what you have is something that's going to be in demand. So focus on that. We're now going to create an offer. Now the offer is super important and it's what's going to help you differentiate yourself between everyone else. If your offer sucks, no one's going to buy it. Your offer is the foundations for the complete business that you have. Without a good offer, everything else will crumble. So here's what you want to do. Create an elevator pitch. Very simply, start with, I help target market get a result so they can what? That's a very simple way to start creating an offer. The offer name. Now this is where things can get interesting. Have a look at your competitors at the minute. The best way to do this is think about what your offer stands for. So for me, as an example, I have something called the Freedom Formula. That is my one-to-one consulting program where I help people who are stuck in a 9-to-5 or a corporate job create their very own exit plan by finding their genius and be able to create a lifestyle business. So that's my overall mission statement, but that's also my target market. That's the problem I'm solving, and it's also the name of my program. Instead of saying coaching, mentoring, consulting, it's all very boring. Having a sexy name will help you massively stand out and position you as a new thing. A cheeky t-shirt change here, but the next one is very important. Your core promise. Now, a very simple way to do this is the program name helps who your target market is get whatever result they want so they can do big benefit and impact whatever it is in terms of the outcome. That alone is going to help you massively when it comes to creating your core promise. The core promise is a big promise. It's something that you are going to say, we will help you do this. I will help you do this. And that can be within a certain time frame. So have a think about it. Write down a few core promises that your solution will offer. And the more you can put down, the more ideas you can generate. And then you can hopefully just pick around one core promise. And happy days, you have something and you're on to a winner. The next thing is, look, you've identified your market already. Okay, so you've done your inner genius work, you know who you're reaching out to, but you now want to go a step deeper. You want to go into their behaviors and their psychology. What makes them tick? Get really under their skin, their fears, their frustrations, their current beliefs. What have they struggled with, and everything else. Once you get clear on all of this stuff, everything becomes much easier, especially when we get to the marketing section, which will be in a minute. So stick around so you don't miss the 5 key posts that you need to post in order to get seen. But for now, going back to your market, who do they want to be? Who do they identify as? Write it down. What do they want to be seen as? What's their current identity? And who do they want to be known as? They struggle with what? List 3 core pain points. Okay, so clarity, confidence, marketing, fear, frustration, stress, limited time, not enough energy, not enough money, feeling broke, whatever it might be. Write down as many pain points as you can. The next thing, what is it your market really want? That's going to help you massively when it comes to the marketing side of things as well. So get clear on who it is for, because everything else will become a lot easier as opposed to attracting anyone and everyone. Step 4 is your signature framework. So use me as an example. My freedom formula is very simple. I have 4 key stages. I have awareness, so find their genius. We then come up with the target market. We then come up with the offer, and then we create the launch with all the marketing side of things. And that then helps people get set up and ready to go within 90 days to building the service-based business. For you, you have to think about it. What frameworks can you add to your offer? Think about it in stages. What will take someone from phase A to point B, and then fill in the blanks in between. That is going to be your core framework. Have a think about it, write it down, because it will help when it comes to the next thing. So you can have fun with this and come up with what's included in your offer. Now, what's included is all subjective. You can add whatever you like. You can add as much as you like, as little as you like. I would err on the side of caution. Having less is better than more, because it can easily get overwhelming and it can paralyze people into inaction because there's too much stuff to do. So, for instance, you can have one-to-one calls, you have bi-weekly sessions, you can have monthly calls. It can be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, it doesn't matter. Access to resources and like marketing toolboxes and things just to make their journey easier at various stages of their journey. It could be a WhatsApp group. It could be 24/7 response. I would not do that. What Ask does 24/7. It's ridiculous. But you can have human response. So respond when you can. You could do it in a group coaching format. There's loads of ways in which you can go about including something. If you're into fitness, it's a nutrition plan, training plan, weekly accountability, that kind of stuff. There's loads of things you can add into your program. So have a little think. What gets you excited? What do you think can really help solve a big old problem that your market has when it comes to the things that you deliver in your service, and write them down. Because at this point, you would have already created your genius, you would have created the target market, you'd have identified a solution, created your offer, and also the things that come into it, and happy days, you are already ahead of the game. So nice one. The next is client transformations. Do not worry if you don't have any testimonials, client transformations, screenshots at the minute. That's completely fine. You can use your own personal story. And the very simple way to do that is think about where you were struggling, think about your turning point, and then think about hope and your offer. If you do have results, however, then you simply start with the problem, so what they were struggling with. You then tie onto the agitation, so agitate the problem a little bit further. You then find their solution. So what did they stumble across, which is going to be your program, which is going to be your offer. And then you do the call to action, where it's reach out if you want to find more about this. Step 7 is very simple. You're simply going to think about the pricing. Now, this is all subjective. They can get a little bit sticky here. And the best way to do this is simply look around at the market already. What is it that your market are offering in terms of prices, and see if you can do anything about that in terms of you can match it, maybe you can go under, maybe you can go a little bit over. It all depends on your experience and your confidence level and whether you just want to dive straight in. To give you an example, my first paying client as a copywriter was $35, and I was buzzing with that because it meant I could do one email that would take me 20 minutes, and it was equivalent to one PT session that took me an hour. So yeah, the trade-off was massive, even though the money was less. And now obviously I get to charge a little bit more, which is great, but that just comes from experience and also from progress. Then you want to think about whether you want to charge one-to-one, which is more of a premium service, so it's going to cost a little bit more money, or whether you want to charge low ticket and do more of a group setting. You can do a combination of both. You can have a higher tier option, which is like one-to-one. This is how you're going to work with me. So for instance, I have a one-to-one offer. That's the Freedom Formula. The Freedom Formula, like I said, takes people from 9 to 5, creates an exit plan within 90 days and happy days. I've not yet created a lower ticket option, which would be a group format, which would be for people who don't want to do the additional accountability as the one-to-one. So have a think about it. You can have a combination of both. You can focus solely on a group format, or you can do more consulting, one-to-one coaching, etc., and charge a little bit more. It's completely up to you. So this is probably the most important part of everything, and that's marketing. You need to know how to market your offer, your solution to a crowd of people who don't yet know you. And this is going to take time, but it's also the best way to build up a brand, to build an audience, and then eventually get leads and clients, which is a good thing. Now, I'm going to show you later on how you can reach out to people who have started to follow you, who might already be in your network, and craft a message around that. But let's start with these posts, because this is where everything begins. So there's 5 core content types for new coaches, and you should be applying these to all of your marketing. So authority and education posts, simply put, this is going to enhance your positioning power. So people start seeing you as the go-to expert in your niche, which is fantastic, because even if an area is flooded and it's saturated with so many people doing the same thing, the way you're just going to differentiate yourself is by being authentic, it's by being yourself, it's also by being credible and knowing your stuff. So you could start with something very simple. 3 mistakes gardeners make when they're trying to cut a hedge. 3 mistakes women are making when they're trying to lose weight. 3 mistakes guys make when they're trying to build muscle. It's a hook, but it's also a way for you to show your authority, to show your credibility, and also to show that you know your stuff. How I helped a client go from pain point to result. This could very easily also be how I went from pain point to result if you don't have a testimonial at the minute. So that's a good thing to do. And if you do have a client, fantastic. You can use a client testimonial, which is always a good thing. So how I helped Jessica lose 25 pounds in 30 days without, spending time in the gym, kind of thing. It's then an opportunity for you to explain that and show your unique process. And the question you should ask yourself before action. Again, the question you should ask yourself before hiring a mentor. It positions you, again, as an authority. You know your stuff, as providing you can back it up with your opinion. And that's all about getting yourself out there. There's loads of different ways in which you can do this. YouTube shorts, carousels, tweets, threads, getting on stories. There's loads of places in which you can start marketing. And that makes for a completely whole new video. But you can find loads of different pieces of content online these days. It's impossible not to find fantastic ways in which you can start posting content. But the main thing is everything you write needs to be crafted around you, your offer, the problem you solve, and why you're unique. The next one is the big one, storytelling. Now, if you wind the clock back in the caveman era, stories were written on the cave walls. They are something that we read over campfires. It's because stories are interesting and we love a good story. And you have awesome stories to tell. And it's a great way to build connection and inspire people because it's relatable. So how to share your story is very simple. I started coaching after whatever personal turning point been. It might be you were overweight. It might be that someone made a comment. It might be that you were just fed up with having bad knees. It might be that you were just fed up with pouring scoring in golf. Whatever it might be, there's obviously a turning point from a problem that you then turned into an awesome kind of solution in that respect. So what I wish I knew 2 years ago, I was still struggling with insert pain point. Again, this is something you can come up with. What was it that you might have struggling with in the past, for instance, that you flipped on its head, that you wish you knew the answer to, that you know now? Again, that's also a powerful way to build connection, also be relatable, because chances are people are going through the same thing that you went through. It's just that you saw a light at the end of the tunnel and you created hope. So behind the scenes of my first client session, again, this could just be a little blinks behind the door. So what was your first training session like? Did it go terribly bad? If so, be honest about that, be open about that, be vulnerable, and then lessons that you took away from it. It helps your niche get understand who you are, and it makes you more credible as well, which is so key to do in this day and age. Is credibility is key. And just don't brag either. You don't want to brag about your lessons. People connect to people at the end of the day. They like people. They don't like hype and bragginess. It comes off the wrong way. Some people do, but the majority of people don't. So So the next one, it applies again if you have testimonials, so you have client results, screenshots, videos. It also applies if you don't have a client result screenshots, but you have your own story. So this is just going to show you how the coaching actually works. So you can choose client case studies, before and after transformations, and blur names if needed. You can also blur faces if you didn't want to. You can crop the face. That's more if you're going in fat loss, for instance. But if it's also financial as well, take out the names would be a good idea. And then you're going to walk through the client through a problem and how you help them reframe it. All right. So how did your solution help them overcome their problem? And then what was the outcome that they then had? And using Jenga pieces to just demonstrate. And that is as simple as it needs to be. It's the same when it comes to telling your story as well. The problem you had, the solution you found, and then the outcome that you had, and then how that relates back to your market. Happy days, you're on to a winner. Number 4, belief shifts. So belief shifts are key. All right. So currently, people in your market, they may have current beliefs, and it's your goal to try and alter those beliefs and see you as the expert in your field. So everyone has limiting beliefs. Lack of time, fear, uncertainty, skepticism, not being good enough. There's so many things. You can just create a list as long as you're on. And these posts position you as the voice of truth in a noisy space. All right. So everyone's posting very generic content these days. But the only way you can be really different is by helping people shift their beliefs and getting under their skin in some respect. They understand who they are, and it's a lot easier to do that. An example could be, you don't need more motivation, you need a system. All right, because people might think that they need a motivation to start, to act, to progress, to do all these cool things, but really it's not that at all. They need a system, and then what that system is, you can break it down. Most coaches tell you to do X, but here's what actually works. Again, so most people might tell you to post more content, but actually here's what actually works. Most people will tell you to post more, to do ads, but here's what actually works. Most people will tell you to cut this way, but when it comes to gardening, but this is how it actually works. So you're just changing a belief, but it's an opportunity for you to pop in your own personal opinion as well. So that is another idea for doing that. If you're not charging enough, it's because of the mindset. If you're not charging enough, it's because of this mindset block. So again, people have limited beliefs when it comes to charging a lot. Maybe then self-worth, not being valued, not seeing good enough. People don't want it. People will just push away, push back, loads of things. But you're just going to talk about a mindset block here and the shift that it takes in order for you to feel better about charging more. So again, you can do short videos with this. So like reel styles, Instagram, you can do feed posts with just an image and then a caption below. You can do it as a story where you'll just hold up your phone and just start talking. There's loads of ways in which you can do the marketing side of things. And again, that makes for another video, but it's just key to bear in mind that these 5 posts are cracking when it comes to positioning you as an expert, as an authority, and becoming across as credible. And post type number 5 is key. If people don't know what you do, then why on earth would the people buy it? Don't even know you exist. So purpose of this one is simply just to get your offer out there. All right. So you don't need to sound pushy, just guide them to the next step. You need to be talking about your offer, not every day, but you do need to be mentioning it at least a couple of times a week. Get clear on what it is that you do. Okay, so what it is that you offer, the results that you promise, the pains that you solve, and make it clear in your marketing that this is what you do. So if you're ready to finally achieve goal, my one-to-one program has 2 spots available. It's a nice call to action. You can add at the end of an email, you can add to a story, you can add to a feed post on Instagram or on Facebook. It doesn't really matter. I'm running a free 30-minute clarity session. Again, this gives people an opportunity to reach out, to raise their hand, to join you in this. Here's a free worksheet for my coaching program. Again, that's a free lead magnet, which is fantastic. And it's an opportunity for you then kind of break the ice with someone else, have a conversation, and they could potentially turn into a lead. That lead can then potentially turn into a client. But at the end of the day, you need to be talking about your offer very clearly and very simply. This is what I do. This is the solution. This is the result. And this is the pain I'm removing. And happy days. Once you have those 5 posts in place, you are good to go, my friend. And now we're going to start reaching out to people. You've got your content ideas in terms of how to position yourself as both an authority and gaining credibility so you become the go-to coach in your area. But how then do you reach out to your market? Very simply, I've put together a DM script. I'm going to jump in and show you exactly how to do this. There are 2 ways you can do this. You've got warm outreach and you've got cold outreach. But we're going to dive into both. And as I said, this is going to get exciting because now we're going to reach out to people who are going to be credible or leads at least for our business, and happy days, start those conversations going. And then the more conversations you have, the more potential you have with signing those clients. So let's dive straight in. Now, this is mine. So slide into those DMs like a pro, 15 DM starters, conversations. So diving into DMs can feel icky. Let's be honest. If you're doing this on social media, just reaching out to someone can feel like you're a bit of a snake old person and you're just like reaching in there and being a bit slimy. But we don't want that. We want to avoid that completely. Instead, we're going to start conversations that get people to want to respond, but have positioned us well. So we reach out at the right point. So we're going to go through people who have voted on a poll, who have liked to comment on your post, who have been lurking on your reels, who totally cold outreach and done right. Okay, so all variables when it comes to, say, Instagram, when it comes to Facebook as well, and just bear that in mind. So DM starters for poll voters. Let's say you use Instagram, okay, and you put up a poll, very simple, do people want the same result? And someone said yes. Then what you do is you then have permission to reach out to those people very simply. You could say something along the lines of, hey Sue, I saw you voted on the poll about my protein recipes. Curious, is that something you've been thinking about lately? Boom. If the poll has been something around protein or something like that, then that's a very good DM to go into because you're leveraging what they've already voted on. Or, hey Dave, I saw you voted on my poll about punching harder. This could be something about kickboxing, martial arts. Curious, is that something you've been thinking about lately? Because then I can position myself as someone who obviously helps people punch harder, whether it's boxing. Hey Suzanne, I saw you voted on my poll, my fat loss. Curious, is that something you've been thinking about lately? Again, it allows you to open up a conversation without sounding like you're just pitching to someone. You're actually leading with something they've already put effort into. So you're just reciprocating in that respect. And it's one of the easiest ways that you can reach out to. I've included a template with all of this stuff. If you want it, go ahead and click the link in the description below, and you can go and grab it for yourself, or just comment guide and I'll send it to you. The fun curiosity DM. So this is where it gets interesting. You can just reach out to someone. Not going to lie, I'll have seen who votes on my polls. Simple as. The low key invite DM. Hey Sue, saw you picked out option on the poll. I actually made something that helps. And that's an opportunity then for you to give them something for free. It might be a lead magnet, it might be a video, whatever it might be. And then for engagement. So let's say someone's liked your post and it isn't just your mum or your best friend and you openly want to reach out to these people. That's fantastic. So easy way you can do it is just simply don't overthink and instead say something along the lines of, hey name, just wanted to say thanks for engaging on the post about topic. So whatever it is you've written about, appreciate you being here. Would you like to see more content like this? If they reply yes, fantastic. That's a good way to segue into a low-key conversation. And then you can do what stood out. So DM. So like what stood out when they liked your post? What was it? So, hey name, you like the post and topic, anything in particular jumped out of you? They can respond. It'd be a bit silly if they go no, which you likely get. You do get people like that sometimes, a little bit strange and weird, but then again, we are strange and weird people, creatures, aren't we? But the comment follow up DM. Hey name, I saw you comment on the post about topic. Love what you said. Mind if I ask? And that's just reciprocating. If someone's commented on the post, it's a very good opener there to go and jump in and have a conversation with them. And happy days. Section 3, very simple, for silent workers. So silent lurkers, these are people who are hidden. They watch your stories, or maybe they haven't interacted, but they do follow you. This is a good way to kind of like open up the door to say a cold DM. Hey name, I noticed you've been checking out a few of my stories. So if they're just lurking, watching your stories, but haven't yet interacted or commented, anything you've been relating to lately. Again, why it works, you're allowing them to respond, which allows you to open up a conversation. It's also not pitchy. Soft call to action, low key, feel like you've seen more of my face than my own mum lately. Appreciate you watching. Is there anything you've been working on where I might be able to help? Again, that's just something that is a little bit humorous, but responding to people who are watching our stories but haven't responded. The offer to help DM. I've been noticing you pop out on stories a lot. If you ever want to chat about something related to insert interest, my inbox is open. So we're just leaving the ball in their court there. We're not expecting a reply, but if they do, that's fantastic. And then that's a potential warm lead. So happy days, all is good. Section 4, cold DMs. Now, cold DMs people get wrong. Okay, a lot of the times, because it's also very pitch heavy, there's no value, and people switch off, and they probably get pitched a lot, and they just don't like it. So when you want to use it, you want to. So let's say you got a new follower and you want to reach out to them. That is a great opportunity to send a cold DM, essentially. So for someone who's recently followed, you just say, hey name, just saw the follow, appreciate you being here, big up. Always curious what drew people in, and if in particular you're exploring lately. Again, it's an opportunity for them to respond, and it's also for you to break ice and have a conversation. There's something called my IDM. So again, for when profile or vibe hints alignment. Hey, I was creeping on your profile, friendly way, looking like you're doing something interesting stuff. So maybe you've got an interest in hiking and that's your niche, right? You might just be sending them a DM, say, oh, I like that hike you did in the Lake District. Where was it? Boom. Or I like that exercise you did in the gym. What was it? I've not done it myself. And even if you're a coach, it doesn't matter. You're just opening up the doors for a conversation that isn't just, hey, buy my shit. Not good. So yeah, cold DMs done right work really, really well.
But we can go a little bit further here. Now we want to create something that will get people to join your email list, which is an ecosystem that allows you to not compete against the algorithm and allows you to own the list so your message gets seen. Now, how do you build a lead magnet? Very easy, I'm going to show you.
The good thing here is that you're not competing against the algorithm. You don't have to keep posting and getting no engagement, no likes and no follows. You actually get to see higher open rates and yes, better conversion rates when you use emails. Now, an email software I love to use is ConvertKit. I'll add it below. It's very easy, user-friendly, fantastic for beginners and more intermediate and even advanced as well, with fantastic landing pages. So definitely get on that. Link in description. But I'm going to show you how to create a lead magnet using AI, which is very easy and very quickly done. So I'm going to use something called Poe, which is where all the language models seem to hang out. It's a fantastic place. You get everything from Claude, ChatGPT, video stuff, loads of different things, everything almost in this is one area. But we're going to start very simply. So we'll just use the voice note just to give you an idea as to how easy creating a lead magnet can be. So let me just show you an example. Hey, ChatGPT. I always like to start that. I hope you're having a fantastic day. So my target market are people who play golf and they want to improve their swing and get more holes in ones. They want to show up to the golf course and be an absolute pro and have their mates wonder how you've gotten so good. My problem though is I need to create a lead magnet that is captivating and that will grab attention so I can start building my email list. But the lead magnet needs to be of super value. I don't mind giving away as much value as I can. Can you give me 3 different lead magnet ideas, please? You go ahead and hit send, and then that's going to go ahead and create 3 different angles I could create for lead magnets, which is fantastic. So we've got the Perfect Swing 7-day challenge mini video course. That gives you a great kind of idea. So you could film a training essentially and do a free mini course of that. You'd simply add it to one of your ConvertKit, for instance, as a landing page or whatever email software you prefer to use. And then happy days, you'd construct your landing page, you'd add this into your emails, and then you've got a perfect 7-day challenge video. The hole-in-one blueprint, 5 pro secrets golfers don't talk about. That's a PDF guide, so it's nice and easy. You don't have to do that. But if, let's say you wanted, okay, this is easy. Let's do the hole-in-one blueprint, right? You'd go here, and then you can say, I really like this one. It's a fantastic idea. Could you please build this out into a whole doc, please, in full? Try and aim for maybe 3 pages in length and then easily transferable that I can put it into something like Canva. And then boom, you go hit send. I love the choice, the hole-in-one blueprint, and it's going to give you everything you need. You got your headline, you got the intro copy, what you'll learn, and then you'll just go into the the stages of your lead magnet. And all you do is you add your own little flair to that and then copy and paste. It's that simple. It doesn't need to be any more challenging than that. But let's say you wanted to take it a step further, okay? And you want to build out a script. You go, great, let's have a short script now I can use for my training for the first option that you suggested. I would aim for 5 minutes in length, deeply conversational, highly emotive, and specific as well with a dream outcome. And what that's now going to do, if I go ahead and hit send, is going to start creating a lead magnet script, which is fantastic because now I've got something here to have in front of me, read, and not kind of riff off. Hey there, legend. Welcome to day one, perfect swing challenge. If you ever walked, and then we're going to go into the pain and going to go to the outcome, going to go to everything. It's a whole video I'm going to do separately, but this is insane. So there we go. You don't need to struggle with lead magnets ever. You can use AI.
So that's your lead magnet done. So you have already your genius idea, you have your avatar, so your target market. You know what your solution and offer is going to be now, or at least you have a very good idea as to how that would look like. You have an idea of how to build out the offer, what's included, and also the phases you're going to include. You now know how to market on social media with the 5 posts you should be talking about every single week, from your story, from your value positioning, from your offer, from the objections, from the myth busting, the authority building. So fantastic, you got it in. And now you've got the training to help you build lead magnets, which is super easy. Definitely check out ConvertKit if you want to make your life so much easier. I'll put the link in the description, but that is everything from start to finish. Now, obviously, to caveat, this isn't to say that you will now start getting clients. This is the key foundations to build a coaching business. All you do now is you show up, you stay consistent, and happy days. Put in the time, put in the effort, have a bit of patience and consistency, and it should start to pay off. But this is the fundamentals you need. If you have any questions, comment below, and if you like that video, subscribe.